tried doing this earlier, but the audio was screwed up because it's probably still going to be screwed up because of the sound of the highway as I'm driving. But I'm going to do this thing where I talk about random topics. I mean, completely random. In my car when I'm driving to from either rotations, class, my sister's house, whatever. Because I don't like sitting in my car just nothing. I can listen to music for a short amount of time, then my thoughts. Don't like sitting alone with my thoughts, as do a lot of us. As a lot of us don't like doing. I'm going to talk about random things. I do this legitimately without videoing it, where I will just yap to myself as if someone's either in my car or I'm talking to an audience of people or I'm talking to classmates. I just do it just because it helps distract me. I also like to just talk. I like to give my opinion on things, but I don't always like to tell people my opinions because I feel like either they don't agree with me or it'll be a whole argument or whatever. I don't think they're very controversial, but maybe they are. And my anxiety tells me that I shouldn't share them and I should just talk to my car. But I'm going to try to do this video thing because I talk about it anyway, so might as well see if someone else likes to listen to me ramble. Probably not, but I'm going to do it anyway, so yeah. Sorry you have to see my face. Really sorry about that, but I don't want to do just an audio recording and just post on YouTube. I'd rather do like a visual, so at least if someone wants to look at the look again. I'll try to get, at some point, maybe try to get other people to video with me, which I've done in the past. Just never posted it. Probably be on a GoPro. Have to figure out the audio issue. Maybe get like a Bluetooth mic or something. I'll have to like maybe record with my phone with the audio and then sync it to the GoPro video, whatever. Or just jump the phone. I did one earlier when I was talking about how I see intelligence and how I find people. What I look for in terms of people who are intelligent, what I see as intelligence, what I see is when someone says something, I see it as smart. I'm not going to repeat that because I totally just did not say it well. It kind of worked out because the audio was bad, so I was like, I don't have to do either. But just short summary of it is how I see it is intelligence. I see someone, not even intelligent, I see someone as very smart, someone I can like see as someone I can listen to and sort of trust when it comes to like how smart they are is like kind of, there's probably more than two things, so I'm going to say two things, is humbleness, of course. I don't like someone who's cocky and just talks about how much they know, unless they can back it up with a lot of stuff, a lot of facts. Sorry, construction. But yeah, like don't be cocky, be humble about how you're saying things. Understand. This kind of fits in with the second one, is understanding that you don't know everything, and understanding that there's so much to learn, and that the more you do learn, the more you learn about, the more you learn that you don't know. Because you open up. It's like if you start at like in a room, you open up a door, and when you open up that door, two doors open. Okay, go to the next door. Go and pick one of the two. Okay, you picked one. Pick that next door. Now there's three doors in that next room. Pick one of those. Open that one up. Now there's four doors in the next room. You open up avenues. It's like almost like a reverse triangle where this is the first door and you just keep doing this. You learn so much that just leads you down more paths to realize you don't know. I listen to like Neil deGrasse Tyson's stuff where he talks to other people, and I'm like, man, I don't know anything. Like these guys are talking about like, it was like the Oppenheimer movie and talking about how all that went down. I'm like, I know nothing about this. And then I listen to it and I'm like, I know even less. Like, even though I learned something, I know even less somehow than I did when I started this thing. Because now it opened my mind up to, it's not that I know less, but I'm aware of me knowing less, is what I'm saying. And I think that is true intelligence, that isn't true, people who are smart, who I find reliable, because they're willing to admit that, yeah, I don't know that much, and there's so much to learn, and that gives me kind of hope that they will look things up in the future and become more smart because they don't know that much, right? And if they've gotten to the point where they realize they don't know this much, then they have to know a certain amount of information. Like I said, you have to learn something to realize you don't know something. So they probably have learned a lot to realize they don't know. And then they will strive to want to learn more, usually. Some don't. Some are just good and they're just certain bubbles, and I get that because there are some things that I learn about and I'm like, I don't care to learn more about this, but there are other things that I'm like, oh, like you learn something new, it's like I have to know more, which is can be a problem in school. I don't know if I mentioned, this is not really relevant, but just to give context, I'm in PA school, which is Physician's Associate School, which is just like mid-level provider, not a doctor, but a mid-level provider. Still see patients and all that, but I'm in school right now. We finished didactic, I'm in rotations. During didactic, I was notorious for asking my teachers, why? So why does that happen? They're like, a lot of time they had the answer. What we call pathophysiology, which is like how things work. I'm gonna give you an example of, let's say, depression, right? Depression, even though it's still not 100% well known on how it works and all the different intricacies of the brain, one big thing that they will allocate to it is the decrease of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain. It's seen as our happy neurotransmitter. That's not all it does. Serotonin does a bunch of other different things, not only different parts of the body, but different parts of the brain. But one thing it is seen as doing is making you happy, giving you that happy feeling. Not the rush like dopamine does, but a happy, almost like overall feeling, right? So understanding that depression shows that you have a deficiency of serotonin. That's why we give this thing called an SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Long name. All it means is when you release serotonin into your brain, it takes longer for your body to reabsorb it out of the brain, so it stays there longer. So you have the serotonin for longer when you do have it. Okay. Knowing that pathophysiology is big to me. I have to know these things to understand. You can't just tell me, oh yeah, for depression you use an SSRI, fluoxetine, Prozac, whatever, right? You just use it. It does not work for me. I can do that with some things, especially when the patho is like really, really long or really complicated, or we just don't know it, which happens a lot. Not happens a lot like majority, but happens a lot more than I was aware of. Again, I know, I'm sorry. I don't know if I mentioned this one, but I say a lot. Knowing pathophysiology is super important to me, and it's that why. I'm not saying I'm intelligent. I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying that I respect people who look further, who accept that they don't know that much. Because from my perspective, when I learn more information, I realize I don't know that much, and I want to learn more. So when I see that in other people, I'm like, that means you want to learn more. That means you're probably credible because you keep looking things up. I wish I looked up things as much as other people do. Like, for instance, one of my teachers that we were talking about, actually, that's why I was kind of bringing up depression because we were talking about it yesterday, is my psychology teacher. We were doing a new psych lecture to go over things that we may have missed in our first one, or things that we're just curious about. This man is super intelligent. This man is insanely smart, and I want to learn so much from him. I wish I was on his level of wanting to pursue more knowledge. This guy has been working as a PA. I think he does a lot of research in psychology, teaches different schools about psychology. He's teaching our 25s about physical exam. I want to be on his level of wanting to look up information. I want to look up information, but then I get lazy. I'm like, I'm going to go play video games. I'm going to go watch Netflix. I'm going to do these things. Instead of doing that, I kind of wish I had the strive to just go look stuff up constantly. Hopefully when I'm done with school and I have more time, I'll turn into more of that, or I'll say, hey, no, you have to at least read 1 hour a day of whatever. That's going to progress your knowledge, and then you're going to go do something else. Almost like giving myself homework, which is what I want to do in the future. I think I'll do that just automatically without thinking about it and not having to give myself homework. But if I don't, I want to do that to progress myself. Not only should PAs be doing that anyways, in my opinion, but providers in general, anyone in healthcare, anyone in professional setting, or just anyone in general should be doing this, where they should be wanting to, advance their knowledge on things, wanting to learn. I think that's one of the biggest things that humans have over some other of our animal counterparts, is we want to strive to keep learning and keep adapting and keep picking up new things. So lean into it. Oh man, I'm almost to school. I don't know what I've been talking about. I think I've been talking about intelligence. I was supposed to talk about something else. I'm sorry. I was supposed to talk about something else. I will do something after school today if I'm not going out to lunch with my friends, or if I am, I'll just do it afterwards if I'm feeling up to it. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Eventually, I'll get to the point where if I even get anyone listening to these things, I'll ask, hey, let me know what you want me to talk about. I'll talk about something. Just let me know, and I'll talk about it. If I like it, of course I have to like it. Otherwise, it's going to be a very short video. It's going to be like 30 seconds. I don't want to do that type thing. I am open to a lot of subjects and talking about it. I know a lot of people probably don't care about my opinion. That's totally fine. Doesn't really matter to me that much. But if you want to hear someone's perspective on it, maybe a random person that you've never talked to, you're like, what is your perspective on this? I'll give you my perspective. And since I'm not talking to someone, I'm not, and I'll talk about this too in a different video about like me being people pleaser and me not wanting to step on anyone's toes. So I'm a very don't pick a side type person. I want to change that to where like, no, this is my point of view. I respect yours. You can have yours. I'm not saying you have to change yours. This is mine, and I want to let you know that. Like, being very upfront about these things. Because I'm right now, I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to tell you my opinion because I feel like you're going to get mad at me and then you don't want to be friends with me anymore. But then you quickly learn that if that's what's breaking your friendship, that you disagree on something, guess what? It's probably we're going to be good friends in the first place. Going to be a lot of yes man. Yeah, man. Yeah, this thing. So they don't call you on your shit. Which you should have a good comfortability of people supporting you. Be like, yeah, I agree with that, or yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, and people be like, nah, dude, I disagree with what you're talking about. Which one of my best friend, it will do that to me. We'll do a lot of agreeing with each other. Like, oh yeah, I see, like, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I do this, but then sometimes they'll say things like, I see where you're coming from. You can tell they don't 100% agree with you, but they're like, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree, which is a good thing, right? That's a good thing, because then there's something to be like, okay, why don't you agree? Teach me something about why you don't agree, because maybe I'm misunderstanding what's going on. Turning into school. I'm not gonna get it. So yeah, that's why I like my friend. He will do that, and he will call me out too. He'll be like, no, I think you're wrong. I honestly think you're wrong. And I'll be like, no, I'm right. I'm not gonna listen to anything. I'm stubborn sometimes. So sometimes I'll be like, no, I know I'm right. He'll be like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, you're fair. That's fair. And he'll give me reasonings. You need friends like that. You don't need friends that are just gonna agree with you on everything, because that's just a lot of yes man. And then like you don't build together. You don't evolve. I'm gonna talk about like adaptivity as a human with behavior and how I see it, and why I don't think you adapting to other people is necessarily a bad thing. When people are like, don't change yourself. Well, I think there's a give and take. I'll talk about this. I talked about this yesterday too, but again, to myself. I'll talk about this maybe after class today. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I'll see how the audio's on this one. It's probably very bad again, but I'll post it just because, so I have something posted, and then I'll try to update the audio later with maybe like that Bluetooth mic that cuts out audio, other than like what's right next to it. Oh well, I'm gonna leave now because I have to go do something. I got here hella early. I might go get something to eat. Let me know if anyone wants me to talk about anything, and I'll put it in a queue. I doubt anyone's gonna be watching this video, but maybe one person will watch it, or maybe my friends will watch it. They'll like it. They won't. They don't like my voice. They hate me. They all hate me. I'll talk about that too later, how I think about that. But yeah, I have a lot of things I want to talk about, and I could talk to myself about them, but I want to talk to a video to maybe have someone relate to me. Maybe eventually build something from it. We'll see. If nothing builds from it, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having like almost like video diaries, almost like journal entries that I can talk about stuff and then look back at it later and be like, oh man, I was an idiot. Oh man, my ideas have changed so much. Oh man, I was onto something here. And like, keep a journal of it, if anything, for me. If not, that's okay. No one listened to it, I'm totally okay with that, because again, it can be for me. If someone listens to it, awesome, cool, let's talk about it. Yeah. I'm going to look crazy for the next couple of weeks of me talking to myself to my phone, which is going to be great. People are going to look at me like I'm stupid. But that's okay, because we're learning, not really learning, but we're trying things. Try things. Again, another subject I can talk about. Oh well, I'm going to leave now because I'm going to keep rambling if I don't. Hopefully this comes up to something. I will see you later. I'll have a sign-off where I'm going to say something maybe at the end of all my sign-offs. I don't know. We'll figure it out. This is my first one. We're going to figure out what's happening. But, okay. I'll see you all later, and you have a great day.